Hi, so this is the help video for Access Chapter 1, Pause and Practice 3. So on the left I have my instruction file, on the right I have the Access database file as it exists at the end of 1.2. And I want you to note that you also need to have this Central Sierra data file. So I'm just going to download it from right here. You can also get it from your assignment tile or from the instruction file. So we don't have to do step 1 and 2 because we already have it named 1-4. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to import data into this employee table. So we know we created this table, and up until now the data has been kept in an Excel spreadsheet. So rather than have to retype this, it would be really nice if we could just pull the data in. So part of the issue is it needs the file in Access, the field names in Access, and the column header in Excel. So I'm going to open up the Excel and show you what I mean. Have to be identical names. So remember I said not the names, not the labels. So if we take a look at this file, emp ID, first name, last name, branch, all those are the names that we typed in when we created our table employees. Now, if you have any kind of a typo in your Access database when you created those names, this is not going to import. And so what you would need to do is open up your employees, and actually I would go to Design View. So switch that and then just make sure everything's okay. So how I did that is I opened it. On the Home tab, this View button switches you to Design View, and you can just quickly look at all the data. But let's say you have it all typed in perfect, which I know all of you do. Let's go ahead and import this. So we're going to import the data. So we have to go to this tab that says External Data. I'm going to minimize that. And there's two things. There's an import and an export. We're pulling data in. We're not sending data out. So we're importing. So we want to pick this that says New Data Source. And it's from a file. It's not from another database. It's not from online. It's from a file. That file is an Excel file. So I did New Data Source, from File, Excel. And now what we need to do is find that file that we downloaded. So I suspect mine is in Downloads. So if I go to my Downloads folder, there is Central Sierra data file. I'm going to pull that in. Don't hit OK yet. So once you find your file, and if you can't find it, go back and download it again and just pay attention to where it's being saved. All right, so now we can import it into a new table. Well, I have an employees table. I don't want to create a new one. So what I really want to do is append it, and I only have one table right now called employees. But looking ahead, when you have multiple tables, guys, you always want to validate that you have the right table listed here. So we have appended employees. We're going to click OK. It's going to start the little import wizard. So this is going to go through, and at this point, if you wanted to choose to not pull everything in, you could do it in this process. We're going to import it to employees. So I just did next. I don't want to analyze it. I'm going to say finish, and I don't need to save the import steps, so I'm going to close. Now I got no errors. If you have an error, it's going to tell you what the error is. Like if it says I can't find the department field or I can't find last name, it'll tell you an error message, and then you go back and you do that. Make sure that your spelling, don't have a typo, you don't have an extra space. But if it all came in okay, like mine did, and I double click on employees, remember we ended here with Tammy Chan. But look at all of these records. We now have 16 records instead of 6 because we were able to pull them from the So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 5. And now we imported that for a total of 16. So that is super cool. Didn't have to type all that. Okay, 16 records, good. So now what they want us to do is kind of just play with these buttons a little bit. So let's look at this down here. Next, next, and watch as it happens, right? It's moving you through. If I do the arrowhead with the line after it, it goes to the last one. If I click in here, it tells you what record you're on. If I want to go to record 7, I can change that and hit enter. It's going to take me up to the 7th record. If I want to go to the first record, it's the arrow with the line in front of it. So just become familiar with that process, okay? So now we're going to look at the field order. So I want to have the title field to the left of branch. So basically I want to rearrange this. So the key is that you watch your mouse. So I'm going to click when I see my mouse change. Do you see it change to the down black arrow? I'm going to click once. I get the box around that column. I'm going to stay right in that little title and I'm going to click and hold. That gives me that bar to the left, and wherever I drop that bar, that's where that column is going to be moved to. So I want to go left of branch, and so now we have last name, title, branch. We want to take start date and move it to the right of base monthly salary. So I'm going to open this up a little bit. So click, get the box around it, point, click, hold, take that bar and move it to the right of base monthly salary. So now we have, let's just make sure I did that right. Start date to the right of base monthly salary. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so next thing I want to do is change the font face and size. So one of the things that you want to recognize about Access, if I change the font, it doesn't change it for column or row. It's the whole thing, right? It's the whole table. So we want to go to the Home tab and find the font, right? So right now it says Calibri. We want to change it to Arial. So I'm going to do that down arrow. Find Arial. Watch this when I do that. See, it all changed automatically. And we want to make it 12 point. We're going to make it a little bit bigger. See, I didn't have to select anything. It does it for the whole thing. So now I want to change the row height for a row. So I'm going to click. So this little gray box to the left of the row is a row selector. So if I click in that box, you see I get that across the whole row. And so I'm going to right click, row height, and I'm going to make it 17. And watch what happens. They all change. Even though I was only on this one row, it does the whole thing. There's no mixing and matching here. It's all one. Okay, change the width of the table column. So this is what I did at the end of that other movie because I get crazy when I can't see it. So come right here to the select all. That's that little box that's left and above. And then any border, double click. That will resize and make an auto fit for every column. Okay, let's see. Click on it. Place your pointer over base monthly salary. Right click, field width, and we're going to make this one 10. Let's see what happens. Why are we doing 10? So what we want to represent here is that the pound signs say that it can't fit with the formatting. So we're going to just right click, field width 23. So we're just playing with that. So anytime you see a numeric with the pounds, it just means your column is not big enough. So let's take a second and see if there's any other fields. Everything else looks like I can see it, right? Another thing you can do, guys, if it doesn't matter the exact size, is you can just, rather than selecting all, if you just go to one and drag, it's just that one column. And then I can double click and make it an auto. When you do the row height, that's all the same, but you can change how each column is displayed, but not each row. Okay, so I am going to see if I can finish this up. Okay, change the field alignment. So employee ID column, we're going to select, and on the home tab, I just want to click center, and it's going to center that employee ID within that column. So now we want to hide a field. So we're going to come up here and click on branch, and then in the records group and the more, we want to hide. So it's gone from view, but it's not gone. If I was to come over here, it's still there. See, branch is still there. It's just not displaying. All right, so we're going to add a total. So home records, find this sigma. So it's the funny looking E. We're going to click on that. It's going to add a total row. And for base monthly salary, we want that to be sum. So I added it, I found the column, I used the drop down, and I picked the statistic that I wanted. All right, change the grid lines and alternate colors. So once again, this is kind of everything. So text format launcher, so that's home, and then text formatting launcher. And so in the alternate background color, so here's background color, here's alternate, we're going to click that down, and we're going to say fourth column, second row in the theme. So right there. So we're going to put our cursor there. Blue gray, text 2, lighter 80. There we go. That one. Lighter 80. Uncheck horizontal grid lines. So that grid line's going to go away. In the grid line color, we're going to make it match, and we're going to say blue gray, text 2, darker 25. So the vertical lines that we put here will be this color. Alternate colors, no grid lines between the rows, but between the columns. I'm going to go ahead and say OK. And we have a different view, right? We did have a different look to it. So now we want to click 102, and notice how this is like a different color. That's because that's the row I'm on. All right, so now I did some changes to the way it looks, right? Not actually entering records. So I do need to click save so that the changes that I made to the way it looks and appears is saved. All right, I'm really done with Pause and Practice 1.3. All right, thank you.